or I'm going to be sideways or something. Right. Yeah.
That's okay, man. You can do whatever needs to be done. I can't believe you're out in the forest. That's pretty, looks nice there.
Well, I figured, I interviewed Jason King, at wandering around back here. So, oh, well, I was on the other side of the property, but okay. Yeah.
Well, it's sunny there. It's raining where I'm at right now, so it's definitely.
Well,
I'm.
if it was raining, there's plastic roofs in the buildings and only one room has the thing. So on the weekend, it has to be perfect weather so I can wander somewhere. I'm hoping
No,
I'll finish one of my graveyard or church videos and someone will ting me on Skype and I can talk to them in the graveyard or something, but that hasn't happened.
not yet, dude, but it can manifest, man. Holy
Well,
smokes! So how you doing? Everything going rocking?
oh yeah, things are doing okay. Well, you're recording, so I'll let you. But
It
I
don't
have
matter.
what?
Oh, I just said it don't matter. It's just all natural. Doesn't really matter. I'll probably chop off the beginning, obviously. But yeah, man, rock and roll, whatever's there.
My interviews, yes, some of them have gone unnecessarily long. I'm not so much I like talking to co-editing for 5 hours. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's a lot to
Um,
be discussed.
but one of the things was that it's like I was trying. It's like I was trying to go to the trying to be able to take a break to go to the bathroom half of one of my interviews, and I was like, but you know, pretty much everything was said in the first like 30 seconds of every question, and it kind of continued minutes longer. And we had sort of a set thing we're trying to get through, but I pushed my way through it. I've held it in longer than that, so I was
Well,
okay.
I kind of understand you on that point, man, because I drink coffee. I mean, it's hey, every 30 minutes, what's going on?
um,
Well, shoot,
well,
you've been following co-editing for a while now, or when did you start? Like, because I've always see you in his chats. I see you in other chats and stuff. So yeah,
no,
what's got?
I've been paying attention to his stuff, and I've actually saved my comments on every single one of his videos, including the couple that have had comments disabled. I still have those comments. Um,
Oh, did you just say something that was too
I don't
turned?
know. Pretty much as soon as I was able to get YouTube on a regular basis, because like 2011, something like that.
Oh wow, wow, yeah, that's about
One of the
2013.
I'm gotta be controlled a bit myself. The one of the people that I followed, I was surprised. I thought Monday I was going to interview this guy who had as much subscribers as I have lost on this channel. I've lost between 2,000 and 3,000 subscribers over, that many people subscribe and then don't, because it's like either they like the Quran or Enochian or something I've done on the on demonology, but they're like, we're not going to wait for him to do another video on this playlist. He's doing others. Well, if you look at my channel, I do stuff.
You have a lot, bro. You have a lot of different stuff. Like some of it, I'm like, holy crap, dude. Like one of your last things, I see you have like a premiere for the next, like you have like 5 videos about the drop and your like premiere stuff. That's, I mean, I
Well,
just usually get it and
that's
drop.
one of the things too. It's like I operate a digital temple, and it's like, okay, fine. I figure not only is very few people even going to be capable of understanding whatever I have. I mean, even superior. I'm not saying I'm superior intelligence to everybody or anything like that. I'm saying that I'm me, but I do so much. Somebody attends something, they attend something, right? You
Yeah.
know, that's how I run my channel. If I'm going to get 7,000 something views on a video that I did in my living room, or if I'm going to get 5 views for something that I took that I did without with the worst camera that I've ever had, digital wise, in my living room, that's my most viewed video. There's better done videos that I only got a few videos, but what did I do back in the day? What did I do before YouTube? And I handed out VHSs. And before I handed out VHSs, and even since, I'll wander the streets and talk to people. I don't do that as much anymore. I've been, Well, it's not entirely because I've been attacked too many times, but that's part of it.
It's too intense for him. The knowledge is too much of a download.
Well, I'm not like one of these guys that I'm the other sort of free. I'm not the guy yelling with the bullhorn. I see your skirt. I know you're a slut. And the woman's like, I'm a virgin, and punches the guy across the face. And the police come, and sometimes they're like, "Did anybody see anything?" Yeah, I've been a part of one of those instances myself. Not against me, but this guy got arrested and put in prison for 10 years on the incident. He got off easy, let me tell you what, but I kind of lost it. But after people figured out what this guy had just confessed to, it was like, did anybody see anything? Was what the police asked the people who were witnesses. But otherwise, I was going to probably get several years in prison or something for you know.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
So it's in some ways I was fortunate, but you can't rely on that. You can't rely whether you're right or wrong. You can't rely on the police doing the right thing, either enforcing the law or in letting things slide that should slide. You could defend yourself, definitely.
But that's the thing. Every person's different, so every interaction. Because I've had some interactions with police, and they all went fine. I mean, I got a ticket, but things could have been way worse. We'll put it that way. But things have been sly and all good. And I mean, it's not like I like to have interaction with police or any of that. I'm very fortunate.
Last year, someone I know, they tried a couple police officers that were known for causing problems, and one of them even got transferred somewhere else. But one of the things is sometimes the lawyers don't really work for you as much as you think. They have to be buddies with the well, they don't have to per se, but they're sort of buddies with the police in their town and that sort of thing. And they don't really, even if you spend thousands and thousands of dollars like this person did to defend themselves. But what happened is they stopped this person. The age-old trick: I smell marijuana smoke. There was no marijuana smoke. That would have been it. Your probable cause is completely out the window, because they said, we got a white guy with out-of-state plates in a state like Oregon or something.
Yeah.
And he was prescribed medication that he was taking for like over a decade. And they never looked into that. You can literally look on an online database. The police can do that. And, oh, this is your medication? You're not just, you didn't print fake labels. This is really your medication? Because they do run checks.
Wow, that makes sense. That's crazy, though.
But they busted him with like $1 million worth of dope, and no one has any. They wouldn't have let him go. They knew it was obviously a frame job, because it's like, if you have 4,000 hits of LSD, 1,000 hits of heroin, and a handful of other your own pill related charges. Yeah, they're not letting you drive back and forth across the country on your own volition. They've got a major drug dealer or major transporter that they're gonna do something about.
Yeah, and there's also
I used to know a guy who worked for the DEA, and yeah, they don't let people like that go.
Well, what about when you think about people that are Freemasons? How there's also that kind of brotherhood that's like, even if someone was to be on the podium and lie, if the judge was also a Freemason, since he was initiated in the same order, that they have to follow like a protocol to like follow this brother and make sure he is good. Like, what do you think about that?
The actual protocol of people miss the interesting thing. The one video that I have a comment that I cannot see it, was the one where I got permission from someone who's a higher up in one of the Freemason lodges to circle around a Freemason lodge and say something, because I showed up to the parking lot, and I was like, I asked one of the guys with the keys, and he said, and he said the same thing you're going to hear from the OTO members and stuff like this. It's not a secret society; it's a society with secrets. That sort of talk. But they have certain ethics that they're supposed to go by. And for example, the OTO, you don't have to get your degrees. yes, you have to have some sort of sexual realization, but you don't have to be sodomized by a dude to get your 9th degree or even your 10th degree. Or I'm talking about the OTO, not this, which was a branch off from the Freemasons.
Okay,
but
yeah.
Freemasons don't. Albert Pike is. I was going to go up to. I was going to go to North Carolina and do a video. Basically, the Freemason Lodge that was the head Freemason Lodge for a while. It's where the 33-degree rite and all this was done. But he was honored as a Christian, so him saying Lucifer. If you've ever seen the Christ Mass in Latin and other church services, Christ is Lucifer. It's a title they always had for him, but people have. I'm detracting.
Well, no, that's okay. You can keep diving.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, let's we can do your bit first, but I might as well introduce you. I don't know if you've seen any of my interviews, whether they're 10-view one or 2,000.
I've watched the EA one most recently. And then I've seen some of your like other videos that are a little bit shorter, but it's exactly what you said. It's different. It's just different. Like everyone seems different. Like I only have podcasts and music on my stuff, but yours is like, hey guys, here's the entire field, and it goes to different areas to it. So that's pretty awesome.
As far as people I've spoken to in a publicized format, you're the I can't say I've talked to a DJ before. In person, yes, but not publicized.
I see. Yeah, man. I mean, it's more.
There was a guy who worked for a cartel who offered me a job. That he's I never saw him DJ, but he DJing was apparently his front gig, because I guess you can't just hang out at the drug house. You got to have something that makes people less suspicious. But it sounded like a very high paying job. I basically ranted to some guy under a bridge in the middle of the night, which was not
nice.
The things always, but basically what, like 38 people were arrested 18 months after I was offered the job. Come here this Saturday at this address if you change your mind, that sort of thing. And that very same address was like the biggest bust in the county.
Wow.
Something. So yeah, so I made the right decision.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
But the thing, caffeine. Okay, caffeine's a minor intoxicant. It's not as damaging as other things. It can lead to depression and ADHD and stuff like that. But let's be real and even take it to that level. That people, for example, with religious principles that said no intoxicants, they didn't use caffeine or anything. But people who but the thing is the laws. Look at why they legalized caffeine. There was attempts in Christian majority areas to actually keep caffeinated stuff from being the thing, but they figured it can jolt people their way up to work. Who cares how if they're exhausted, if they crash when they get home? Give them coffee throughout the day, and then they can crash when they get home when they're not working for us. So, it's very productive to the capitalist overlords. So that's
Well, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like the keep going, keep drinking, don't you dare stop.
The safest man-made painkiller, diacetylmorphine. Heroin is white. Any other color that's I've ranted to some. I'm disabled, so for some reason that attracts drug dealers to me, and I'm like, no, you don't got what I need, and these people don't even know what heroin looks like, and they're trying to deal me heroin. But it's the safest man-made painkiller. But Bayer pushed the federal government to change it because oxycodone and stuff like this was harder to make, and it was more profitable for them. It may be 10 times as deadly as heroin, but more addictive, more damaging on the brain and the rest of the body. But profit margins. Cocaine's safer than some of them. But I'm not saying make things. I don't feel like I should list off the chemicals that go into unadulterated street drugs, and then they throw in rat poison and all sorts of other stuff, which may enhance the high, it may not. But
Yeah, it's still not. It's not good.
That's stuff. I'm not. But the fact of the matter is, some of these drugs would be safer. People need to not be so hypocritical. And if you're going to allow it for like sorcery, whether it's the having actual alcohol in your church on Sunday for your sacrament services, or what the deal is, it's like, okay, then just open it to anyone else who is going to follow actual sorcery from, because there's really three ways that people can define sorcery. One is ritualized drug use. The other is you put things to chance, and the other is, I guess, an implied thing that you're involving the jinn or the Davas or the fire beings or the fallen angels, or however you want to phrase these gendered male and female invisible beings that every ancient culture that could write talked about.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Even giants.
But anyways, I've given you a name here, and it's broken into 9, and these names are broken into 9 parts. VK Jehannem was the only person who doesn't have his name broken into 9 parts. I don't know exactly why it turned out that way. I didn't plan it, but
wow.
Well, somebody on my channel was commenting about VK. Me and VK Jehannem are apparently some sort of secret Jewish agents, or I don't know. Joy Satan has some pretty some pretty crazy racist theories. Well, not entirely racist, because the Jews aren't a race, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what you're talking about. I mean, someone could say it's the Zionist Jews doing this and that. Someone could say it's this. I just think it's a bloodline, bro.
The funny thing about Zionism, you have over 200 verses that explicitly condemn this blood and soil Zionism, but you're left with something different. You're left with only one verse that's kind of thrown in there, and that's the only thing they can quote as something clear to support their thing. But it was always regret and it's like Nechmu Wanechem Ami, regret and repent, and you'll be my people. Isaiah 41, and there's a bunch of other examples that it's not even about Jerusalem. Zion doesn't have to have Jerusalem. It's about setting a good example, basically. And that's what the Freemasons actually were technically, in a way. You have to, whether you're a Satanist or a Christian or whatever. Oh, you'll probably be blackballed at the local lodge if they know you're a Satanist and you come in and try to be a Freemason, even if you're invited by a buddy or something. There's someone who's gonna
be able to know your intentions. Like, once if I said, I'm an alchemist, what would they say to that?
Well, it just depends on the lodge. For example, they do like recommendation from a local church or something like that. Now, another group which some of my ancestors were instrumental in. I don't know how recently it goes into the thing, but that's not me. I never experienced white privilege, so it's I never was part of any of that. So
yeah, I feel you too.
I don't have to feel bad about that. Even if somewhere I haven't searched everywhere. Well, because everywhere is not my perlay yet. But if I find some white robes and a copy of the Quran in here, somewhere around here, it's like, so it's again not my thing. But
yeah.
What was my point about that? But I was told coming out here because by someone, if I get a recommendation from my church, it will help me become a member of the clan.
Wow.
And
wow.
Church you go to, but the church I grew up in, basically, yeah, like every other church had racist policies, although some out branches kind of. But the founder of that church, that church had an exception. He had a black Freemason friend, and that friend was given a high one of the positions in his church. Other than that, no blacks had any level of position, even the equivalent of a 12-year-old white male, until the 60s.
Wow. That's pretty. I mean, that is a part of the history, and that's why, I think racism's ridiculous, judging someone off their skin color. Then people judging people off of other people's beliefs. It's not
Well,
helping out society in any means.
you know, when we get to this portion, obviously. But one of the things I do in my interviews is like, okay, instead of just a lot of people that you can only get a couple questions off, because as I said, I have talked to a lot of people with these questions. I just, you know, I was doing these interviews for a good 10 years before I ever recorded anything. But
Oh wow.
one thing is, a lot of people will just try to list off their church and stuff, and they'll say, you know, oh, well, talk to my church leader about what the opinions are. It's like, well, I'm asking your opinions and your experience and that sort of thing. And I've talked to church leaders. Some of my church videos, I've talked to the people there, but it's like, okay, I wander around the church and say what you want, but really, you don't want to control the narrative, you know?
Yeah, well, that's
I
the
thought that
thing. I've been
but
in churches, you know, and you can just keep saying what they told you, or you can use your own gnosis. And you know, I found out the current I was going on really kind of got me kicked out of the church in a sense because you know I
well,
started asking other questions, and then the questions get a little bit too
well,
intense.
that's part of the thing too, is that I haven't been officially banned from anywhere or anything like that, but there
Yeah.
are people who make upset comments. And I was told in a churchyard, somebody there didn't like, it's like, I have relatives buried in this graveyard. What's wrong? What's wrong with me wandering around the graveyard taking pictures of the graves?
Yeah, that's
The woman knew who I was too, which is like, so I didn't know. Um,
she's on her computer, dude. She's over there reading her Bible and making sure you don't go on the property. I'm just kidding.
but well, okay. Before I keep delaying the thing I said I was going to say, but an interesting thing, as a lot of people know, but apparently I don't get too many views. Well, I do. My most viewed video is on Enochian, but comparatively, I don't. I have more on Enochian publicly done in my media than anybody, and still I'm like, I mean, okay, some people published books and stuff like that, but other than that, as far as free stuff available to the public, yeah. But Enochian would not be possible if it were not for John Dee studying, well, let's presume it wouldn't be possible, studying alchemy of both the East and the West and in between. He studied stuff from the Sufis. He studied stuff from the Chinese, from Africa, from Europe. He was into a lot of stuff, and if it wasn't for his alchemical studies, at least the type of Enochian that's not so organized, because there's like 5 types of Enochian, and one of them's like, there's like extra little formulas and stuff like this that people can do. That's not part of the main system.
What's like an example? I mean, I know just like for an Enochian spell, like I work with angels here and there. There's certain ones I really like, but like, is it just like kind of like they have their own sigils and then you apply it, or is there like a different method behind that?
Well, in general, people can say there are 2 main sources of the sigillium that you find that you find in the various magic systems. Now, some of the stuff goes way back. The Necronomicon, that's representative. That's not realistic. Anybody who studies any of those languages knows that they're lying in the way they talk about how the book came about. But are people who just look at the artifacts can tell there's something wrong with how the Necronomicon kind of, but it opens some doors for people. I'm not saying that.
Oh, it definitely opens some doors. It makes you ask some things.
But 2 sources. People like the Arabic, particularly the Arabic calligraphy, and they tried to in the sigil writing, just like some people think the Gahtaya, you know, because that's the Greek pronunciation, Gahtaya. I kind of like that. It sounds like Chinese or something. But you know, the Lesser Key of Solomon and that sort of thing. But yes, there's like symbols that come in dreams and stuff like this, and I'm not saying that doesn't occur, because I can't be the only one, right? And sometimes you think you're the only one, and then you look stuff up. Have you ever done that? You're like, this is a weird experience, and I've never even heard of that. And I've looked into thousands of things, and like, and then I have the experience, and then it allows me to look something up.
And it makes you almost confirm what your suspicion was. I definitely had that. I had that with
like for example, okay, your name here, Lazuvama is the language. Gasav, Ul, Fu, Siz, Zev, Murger, Ont, Nev, Muz. And one of the formulas, the really trippy thing was I got like hundreds of these before I knew what a single word meant. And yeah, when you have a whole list of like 100-something demons and a bunch of spiritual names for people, then you have no clue whatever. You don't know which are numbers, which is words, what's what.
Yeah.
Once I figuring some of that out, I was able to find information dealing with entities that I couldn't find in the main books. But as soon as I had the meaning of the chant, like Lilith, I think was one of the ones that as soon as Lilith and Mephistopheles, I think, were two entities that there was a chant regarding. That as soon as I knew the meaning, I could find stuff that as far as I knew, I couldn't. I've never heard before. But then I was able to find it. I was able to find certain things said about these entities, but only after that was coming through in what I personally had.
Oh, so it's like, I mean, actually, when it comes to the Inanna or Ishtar, however, I just knew, at first it was just a gnosis of she's a warrior god as well as a love god. What's that?
Do you see me? Because I kind of
yeah. You're good, man. You're rocking. You're rocking and rolling. It's sunny there.
But the one of the things that's things are according to one's intentions, anyways. So, no matter how. Yeah, I don't. For some reason, it's not.
I didn't know that was abandoned. There you go. Can you see it now?
Well, I see you. For some reason, I don't see.
I see you. You're pretty much centered. Now it's the trees. But that's okay. It's beautiful. It's nice out there, dude. That's all I'm saying, bro. It's nice out there. I understand that though, man. Like when it comes down to it, it's sometimes you don't understand yourself, and as you get to understand yourself, you understand how either A, that spirit's helped in your life, B, how its influence has been with you for the whole time, or even C, to actually get like the full picture. Like there's only so much I knew, and I kept working with the entity. Then there's more I knew, which opened me up to other things, and then I get the whole picture, and the whole rainbow comes out, and it's like, wow. I now understand. It's almost like doing a path working and looking back and being able to see what happened between the point A to point D versus just seeing those snippets from like what's going on between B and C, where it's like, I kind of know what's going on, but I don't really know what's going on. And I mean,
it's like path working. Rather than just, okay, you open a book and you say, oh, this looks like a chapter or an entity or whatever. But if you actually go through the whole thing, you're like, I thought this was what I needed, and there's something else in there that made this better for me, or approach this when I really thought this was the one. Like people could divide the 72 of the Gahtaya plus the one secret one. The secret one of the Gahtaya.
You mean the one where it's all of it is one, all 72 is one being?
No, not quite. There is a side book that kind of has a different it's really a 4-part, the so-called Solomonic magic, which isn't Solomonic magic, but it's called that anyways. It's really 4 parts, but no, there's one that's almost none of the grimoires versions will list Hollohel. Hollohel is sort of the overlap, so the whole thing's like a snake biting its tail, in that this thing kind of starts and ends the year. And if you rearrange things, one interesting thing to do is, some of the order may be wrong. Let's just presume it's right. If you look at starting at the vernal equinox, or maybe the old or just say the earliest Saturday, the earliest Sabbath starts the cycle. If you follow either of those, you're going to find that the symbolism matches up so much better with so many of the entities more than anything else. Carol Pokerunian has switched the order of Stalos and Ashtaroth, which I disagree with for different reasons, pertaining to seasonal ceremonies mostly.
You mean with Salos and Astaroth?
Yeah, he switched the order of 29 and
19.
No. To put in the for the fall.
To add, okay.
But really, Bareth, the soap demon, and Ashtaroth kind of go together. And if you're going to say a type of ball with again, that was what he's looking for symbolically. But he's what propelled me as much as anything else. His techniques helped teach me to be better in a lot of my practices. I may not agree with a lot of his theology or whatever, but that's what it did. And I realized here is a work I can do. I can look at that. There's issues with the language. What are the linguistic meanings of this? Boom. Everything directly related to the Bible that I could pull out. I mean, as far as the language is concerned, everything, mainstream religion, what scripture is connected to that. I don't think anybody's done what I've done. Of course, for some people it's dry. Some people like the fact this guy's got something new in terms of his chants, and he's got a color scheme. There seems to be a color pattern with some entities. I've arranged it that sort of way. So, everybody. Of course, maybe somebody will be able to make that sort of thing more understandable to the public rather than just because reading off for 15 minutes the etymology of the spirit's name and that sort of thing.
Reading, just sitting there reading, giving faxes, and it definitely can. Yikes.
I thought there's a building, there's a shed here that I thought, I don't know, at some point see the perfect times to do it and stuff. I got to I do have some evenings I can head out there per se, but anyway, if I did something like I just have an abbreviated version of my evening rite, not the 3-hour ritual or something like. If I had 10,000 subscribers or something, I could probably do a 3-hour ritual, and people would see some, other people would see some people would.
Definitely, man.
But I mean, I'm going to do whatever on my own anyway. It's like my channel is only a fragment of what I am. It's an honest fragment, but
you can't encompass everything in it. I mean, like, I can't. Yeah. I'm not gonna go make workout videos, and I love working out, and I pick up track. I mean, there's music videos and all that stuff, but like, they got the music, and then there'll be the downloads for the podcast. Because my music, I speak in a occult conscious type of way, so it's like, if someone listens to that, and then they're like, "Wow, this is really mind provoking." Well, then now you got podcasts, so you see, I'm not just spewing out some knowledge and then kind of full of crap, because there's like, you kind of want to be authentic, but then you also can't give a shit. Like, that's the thing that EA is awesome about. That's really helped me out. It's in Belial too. Like, fuck it.
Well,
dude.
that's one of the things too. Well, for one, it's not just to show off for the camera or something, anyways, and you only have so much. It's like so much space. It's like I thought I was going to live stream a ritual with somebody for my Ostara, the fall, the spring equinox this year. I was going to live stream that, and it turns out that everything except my rant afterwards about how I felt and stuff I couldn't record any. But anyways, my idea was basically I was going to have the abbreviated ritual, which I like to read these. I like to read over pretty much the whole. It can take as little as 5 minutes, the main part, and then I'd do the chant, maybe 10, 15 minutes, probably break into the ritual, something like that. And, so I was thinking doing an updated, shorter version of every one of them with a particular chant unique to my experience.
Now, do they let you do live videos if you don't have a certain amount of subscribers? Because it won't. I mean, for YouTube,
Well, that's the thing. I lost. I don't have. I don't have the 1,000 subscribers to do the live YouTube videos.
Me too.
Yeah, you can do better as far as the amount of material you can put out if you can live stream. Now, one of the things about live stream, of course, it's like I hope I did not give off anything with any revealing numbers or something in the background or something, because I think I had things pointed the right way. But you don't want necessarily to let everybody know where you're at. It's like wander around the church when no one's there. Not
hey, ding, ding, ding. I know, I agree. It's kind of like, there's magic things. Like, I'm pretty much an open book, but I also realize sometimes by opening too much, it can have someone else's thought form or whatever else interfere with the whole situation. So it's like your manifestation or your desire and everything else can kind of be altered. And that, not to do things secret to be secret, because I mean, honestly, my number one thing is about exposing, like letting the truth be known. But there are certain
it's like, okay, I'll do little things and like there are some basic things, not anything that anybody can't do really, a few minutes here and there, as I tried to allude to one interpretation of the 17 that is talked about. Well, the order of 9 angles and pretty much all its branches use this code about sacrificing 22 every 17. And let's just say I do that, but not that but people are like, you never killed anyone, your temple's not an authentic Nexion. But it's like, you don't get it. But really the whole thing is 17, basically in 17 minutes a day, a few minutes here and there, I can get done what I can get done. Basically, 22 represents the past the tarot, the alphabet, whatever. So you can. I recently said, okay, 30. There's a language with 30 sounds, so I said 30. English has over 200 actually, so that's not going to work as well as people think. But
wow.
That's that sort of thing. But people don't get that. They think you have to. Like I was saying with Aleister Crowley, okay, there's certain stages of development and breaking of taboos and stuff like this, but they don't have, they're not getting you high on drugs worse than heroin for certain degrees, and they're not sodomizing you in the temple and stuff like this. As much as that's a disappointment for some people, it's just not what happens. People have their private work, for example, that they may be asked about. That, okay, you've done this, that, and the other. Some of it's pretty disgusting what people have decided to do, but that's their kind of choice.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I did see during some lodges that, I mean, I know that they use the, I don't know how you, I just say goetic. They use the goetic spirits within different music making. I mean, there was a video that had, Rick Ross speaking about some certain terms and terminology, speaking about that. And I mean, I don't see anything as good nor evil in that sense, because I'll use, not even use, work with, because I'm homies, they're my friends, with spirits to make something happen. So people realize that that's actually happening, dude. Like, that's something that's huge. I'm like, I don't really care necessarily what's happening, let alone, whatever. I just want to be exposed so people know, so then we can move a next step forward in consciousness versus us just be driven.
It's like there's some techniques. It's like the hyperventilating, the steam room, and I'm not doing the whole sadomasochism thing. But some people, I do understand the value per se in that, but in general things, there's context to things. nothing is forbidden in the right context, if you in a way of speaking. You know, every pleasure and everything else you can get in life, if you're going to use the terms good and true and that sort of thing, it's there. Crowley kind of tried to blend the two together, which you know.
Yeah, I mean, like,
but it's like, how can you respond to these things? It's like, you know, oh yeah, you didn't say whether or not you went to church growing up or thing that I remember, but
I definitely did.
You know, one of the biblical paradigms is basically the anti-thought, anti-feeling sort of thing in Pauline Christianity. Again, I blame the I think Jesus was a lot more chill and same with the rest of them than what the Jewish priests and the Christian church inventors have done with them. And there's
kind of like Buddha.
Pretty much every religion. It's like Christianity and Buddhism share something in common. There was a movement and a whole series of people, and they figured these people were coming to an end. So Buddhism, Christianity were both the results of something coming to an end. And you look at it, and it wasn't quite, you know, this guy didn't want to be called considered one of the Buddha didn't want to be considered one of the angels and that sort of thing. He wanted people to kind of figure out for themselves and do their own thing. And now people are worshiping statues of Buddha, seeking refuge with the Buddha. I mean, not every Buddhist is, you know, there's
there's different sects, just like different sects of Christianity, but still, I mean, that's the thing.
But this idea, it's like, how do you deal with your thoughts? How do you deal with your feelings and emotions and that sort of stuff? If you can't. And it's like, how are you supposed to pick, okay, fine, get married. But how are you supposed to help yourself pick a wife if you can't, if there's no lust, you know?
Oh, definitely. I mean, exactly. It's don't numb your feelings.
It's like I was speaking. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I guess I got a story for you.
Yeah, there we go.
So I was, you know, I don't know if you've seen these stands. Who's that guy off Growing Pains that basically annoyed people till they had to end the series, and Ray Comfort and that sort of thing. But anyways, there was one of these stands outside of a peace and justice fair, because I guess they weren't welcome, the type of people they were. But it was a list of things, and if you didn't do them, if you thought about it, you were a bad person. One of the things the guy was like, so have you ever lusted after, if you've lusted after a woman, it's like, 7 since I entered the park. Why? And it's like, you only walked 100 feet. It's like, well, I'm picky. But the idea you can't even think about something, or if you stole a candy bar when you were 5 years old or something, it's like you're going to be, you know, there is grades of things. It's how this world works. Why can't it be in the spiritual world that there's different degrees of whatever? This idea that broken one little bit of the law, then it's like you broke the whole thing. And if you thought about breaking one bit of the law, or if you had feelings in favor of, you know, if you didn't feel, you know.
Yeah, if you break it, you're breaking the law. If you feel it, you broke it. And if you do it, you broke it. And that's the problem that got me. I mean, I'd go to confession all the time because of that. And it made me obsessed with worrying about my sin, as well as like kind of not caring about myself, in a sense of like, you piece of shit, and like numb yourself, and then just say it's all good. Hopefully I'll just ask it up. And it just felt powerless. And it also just felt like, you know, I'm getting put inside of a box, man, to be like, all right, obey all the rules, don't do anything. And you also can't speak out about anything that you feel like that's going on, because our people here deny it. You know,
well, it's sort of to put it on the on the Kabbalistic tree of life. You got Hood. One of the things with Hood, but not every culture sees that level quite the same. Hood, more than any other level, is about doing exactly what has been laid down for you, sort of the written book, but you become the Lucifer, just the way over in the Venus principle. So the Mercury is just your. This is being conveyed. You're conveying it. You're taking what's been given, sort of like the father stage and the mother stage, kind of all wrapped up into one. You got a little bit less about the relationship per se, But you know the three stages: mother, father, child. But childhood is your independent morality and the ability to choose otherwise. That's
okay. Yeah.
that what happens with puberty and all this stuff. So it doesn't have to be that's the thing too. It's like, okay, once you stop accepting that whatever's been either invented by yourself or what other people have said is a sin, and try to look beyond that, then that fixes a lot of things.
Yeah, I agree.
But an interesting thing, is like, for example, in Islam, the version of Hud is Surah 77, and it kind of operates like a tree of life, like the tree of life for the bad ones, but there's one way out. So it's weird. There's like this balance, but it's kind of broken out like the tree of life, really. Which interesting that it came before the people say the Kabbalah goes back to Abraham and all this other stuff, and 1100s is the stuff that people are talking about. And by the 1100s, you're talking, there's so much false attribution of some of the ancientness and stuff like this, faked Aramaic and stuff like this going on, that it's like, why do we have to it's not the ancient that people say it is, but if something comes out just now, that doesn't mean it's not going to work or something.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's all a process of learning and becoming. I mean, without a doubt. And
some people authentically.
Do you just like work with the Enochian beings, or do you not care? You work with this, that, and the other, or like how's that work for you?
As one says, I haven't been able to articulate some of it quite as well, but I kind of have worked with all five systems. You got the you got the 49 calls, the unspoken one, the first 18. It really operates like a 0 through 8 level initiation, if you break it down. If you want me to be specific about that. For example, the sigillum, the seal of God. Basically, it was a tradition that people kind of they thought if they had the right symbol, rather than realizing some of these prophecies kind of pointed to the Ishmaelites and some stuff like this, and there was more to it but people thought, okay, if I just make the right symbolic set or something like this, I will be the prophet of the age or something. So that was part of what motivated the whole sigil of the truth of God stuff. But anyways, this is introductory material to the Enochian. You got that, and you have this blank tablet, and you meditate on it. And honestly, once I did that, the keys opened to me like they hadn't opened to before. But that's sort of like the 0 degree. And then the first 3 calls are like your first degree. And then you got your second, third, fourth, and then you got 4 calls for the 5th degree and 4 calls for the 6th. You got it kind of breaks down the rest like that, because 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then you have 11, 12, 13, 14. And then you have 15, 16, 17, 18. And then you have the call of the 30 authors, which is the 8th initiation. And that's whether you want to go 1 through 30 or 30 through 1. It kind of, it's the 8th degree. But there's some of the material that I would consider kind of for further degrees that you would say for that, like the Liber Loageth, the Book of the Speech of God, the 79 by 70, the 49 by 49 tablets in 49 by 49 by 49, basically. So it's a lot of material, but it's sort of an advanced working. Now I haven't formally done that, but I have worked with that material. And then you got the Anglorum Bonorum, and that can be, the good angel 7 by 7, sort of the non-sinister septenary system. If you know about the OTO and the Yazidi mythology about the basing things on 7 and that sort of thing, 7 sons of the Phoenix, either Malak Taus and 6 or Malak Taus over over 7, and perhaps Engermanu over Meliktals, and or Offerman, as you would say it. But this is the light side of that. But honestly, even working with the light side, it depends on your intention and how you do it. It doesn't have to be all pious and all that. And you definitely don't have to go through you don't have to go through the alchemical experiments even. Although spiritually, you kind of do go through a spiritual alchemy with all this. And you can go back and forth over and over again, really. I like to, for example, with the 30 authors, I like to break it down according to the lunar calendar. So for Saturday night, Sunday through sunset, you got, the 11th author, the author of tension. So that's one that I would like to do, probably tomorrow morning. And I regularly do that sort of thing. I spend probably an hour a day on Enochian material.
Oh wow, that's a lot for just one thing like that. That's crazy, man.
But yeah, you can break things up like that to a degree system. So you don't need anybody else to initiate you. Yeah, it can be good to involve yourself in an order or something, but don't fall for the thing where you like spend 20 years in a group to find out, oh, there's information of like, oh, here's the name of these spirits and these symbols and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with like Aura Lee then, and even EA, like they were in orders in their past, and they eventually didn't want to be in it. And my spirit has always kind of been like, obviously a little bit of an anarchist, but it's more of like I don't want to be told. I can't tell anyone anything, so that's why I'm also feel like it's already kind of known why I wouldn't get initiated in anything, because they say you can't tell these secrets, and that's the first thing I would. I got a secret.
That's the trippy thing with some of these groups is that they don't actually make you. The Freemasons make you swear, that we're going to cut out your tongue and slash open your bowels and some pretty cool stuff. But they. But the thing is, most of the groups don't quite do that. But they kind of try to psychologically get you to the point where it's like, you don't even believe like they do. And it's like, as soon as you're out of the group, it's like, there's a ting. It's like, oh no, I thought it was completely,
yeah.
It's not like, but anyways, they like program you like you're going to get sick and all this other stuff. And you're not really thinking that, but then again, it's like, it's done something to you. To me, it was more like the attachment to the group. It's like, one, I wanted to make things easier because I didn't expect to be involved with the group all that. I thought at any time I would have to be separate from that group, and there's really not, for example, too much of that activity in that organization going on in my current location. But I just thought it would be easier that I break things off now, and
not
that, and let's be honest, if my responding to Ekankar stuff, for example, it was basically the material had run dry. I'm trying to gain the favor of Unicole Unicron, for example, and she has a wider variety than this Ekankar group with 60 books from one guy, from the current guy, 60 something books for the current guy alone. Of course, I think there may be ghostwriters and stuff like this for that organization. Like a lot of the big selling books are, there's one guy who has ideas and they have a team of people who write for the company.
Oh wow! Well,
so I think maybe that's the thing. But
Ghostbusters.
But the fact is, it kind of runs dry. And honestly, but it's good for some people come out of organizations like this, and it's like, I know how to invent rituals. I know how rituals, spiritual exercises, whatever you call it. I can manipulate mythology. But I could do this before joining the group. It was basically what the ONA would call an insight role. I was being completely honest, but for example, I never promised I will not keep this stuff secret. So I'll tell you right now, my secret word, Vane, that's my secret word for that group. And some of my experiences probably would have been considered inappropriate to share. Oh, particularly my initiation experience, right? But the thing that was trippy about the initiation experience is like there was a transfer from me to the guy rather than the other way around. In that he accidentally said stuff that is like, I never said anything about this, and this guy's like, for a second there, he was like speaking to me in Arabic or something, and I'm like, okay. And I knew what he said. What he was saying is like he didn't know what he was saying, but
I've had actually someone like that too, and they were by me, and when they were doing that, and then they'd be like, "I don't know what I just said," I would get a very insidious feeling, and it eventually, I mean, that's what melted the whole thing was I couldn't trust the individual because their vibe and things they would say. And if you're saying you're channeling things, but you don't know what it is, like you don't know what it's from or any of that, and you don't care to find out, that's when things start getting dicey. And I'm not here to
well,
play dice.
that and the fact that just like Scientology, they keep records on you, and apparently they use the help of the local leaders to keep that record on you. And I was trying to figure that, notice that, and I'm kind of like, wasn't too comfortable the fact that okay, I'm trying to, I thought things were even altered before they were shared. Like there was like a main group or something like that, and it's like because they do that. Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here. I'm rocking.
Okay, your picture blurred and you know.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
But yeah. It's like okay, but I knew how. I could pick up the books and basically project my way into have. But just like when you meditate with a tarot card, I'll do something random, and then we'll kind of switch to something more for me, I guess. Okay, so let's do a 3-carder.
Okay.
And okay, let's talk about that. If that's okay. I don't want to. This.
No, that's totally fine. So you want me to ask a question and then get a 3-card answer?
Okay. Well, let's basic past, present, future. So let's see here. We got the Chariot. So Chariot for past, and okay, no, I don't know what's going. Oh, this thing is trying to. Oh, it's saying that there's thousands of coronavirus cases in my state. So what? Well,
Classic.
Okay, and the Two of Wands, which I would put closer to the days right after the summer solstice, because I try to adjust things fully into the age of Aquarius.
Okay. I don't even know what day the solstice is on, to be honest.
If you're familiar with the alchemy, the lion turns green, the and stuff like that. That's one of the things that happens in this age, you could say. And the Three of Swords as more or less the future card. So what say you? How does that relate to something for you? Thought I had a better place to set these cards.
Oh man, I don't really know. Other than the Chariot's me just riding the wave, trying to push a force forward, and then if I saw the picture, it might help. I might have to see the card because that's the thing that's helped me with anytime there's tarot. When I see the card, it gives an interpretation to it.
Okay, well let's
dive in.
I thought I found a better place to set these than I did. Okay. Okay, that's swords. So it's the Three of Swords, right?
Yeah.
So as so you can say in the past. Okay, this is not as my area of things. In the past, I realized and actualize that I was not these things that I was operating, but I was, per se, something else worth the effort, you could say.
I like that already, what you just said there.
In the future, I have to be prepared for the loss that I face in the future. So,
Damn.
And sometimes that's because there's too much of something, not necessarily a lack of anything. And oh yeah, I gotta be careful of these cards. Apparently, this version is apparently this version has gone up. So if I have $100 pack of cards in my hand, I gotta be careful with it. Well, feel free to talk. I'm having.
He's having a situation go on over there. Yeah, I've had a few tarot readings, and they've given me lots of insight into different aspects, but sometimes they can be more of a guiding, like for this past, present, and future. I can kind of understand the past and present, and then to kind of see what happens if that present doesn't change.
Well, I have spied with my my kingdom as it stands, but I'll show you the chariot again for your. Okay.
Are you showing it right now?
Yeah, I'm showing it right now.
Okay, your camera, maybe you didn't know this. I figured you knew this, has been facing the opposite direction for probably there he is. Right, for like 40 minutes. Yeah. Okay, now it's gone. It's back to the other direction again.
That's are there because I don't want all the I don't want all the buildings or whatnot known in this property.
It's literally just been straightforward this like past 30 minutes. See, now I can see you. I don't know if it switches on its own. Like right now it just got switched again. So I didn't know if you knew that. Yeah, because it keeps switching forward.
Because I know there's stuff on the other side of the camera that I don't want showing up. So.
Oh, well, that's Yabba-dabba. That's what I would say is Yabba-dabba yikes. It keeps switching between you and that back and forth. Like now it's outward again. It's not your face.
Well, zoom in and see if any numbers or something show up. If they do, I don't want that.
No, there's not, dude. This camera, I mean, I can hear you fine. That's all I care about. But it's just wibbly wobbly, dude. Like it's literally almost blurry the whole time. It's nonstop moving. So you're good.
I don't know what's going on, but I guess I mean we can let this go on a little bit. I was going to break shortly if you want.
I'm not down.
Sure. I have family, but if you want to get back on in like 10 minutes or something after that.
That's fine. I'm totally down. We can totally do that.
But we can talk to then because see it works out more or less perfect. I was going to break and do my questions and stuff like that at that point. So and I guess I'll have lights and stuff so we can see better.
Okay. Hey, that sounds good, man. Yeah, you can send me your email on our chat, and then also just send a Zoom. I meant not Zoom. Send a Skype.
Because I don't the contact that I contacted you from that is not basically that's a name that I invented for somebody because like other people didn't. I was good for them, but the fact was that they had things in their life that were more important, and therefore, with me around, it was hard. It was anyway. People didn't want me I was sort of a prevention from this person getting into crime, basically, and so people didn't. People kind of tried to put a stop to that per se, and well, I don't know what she watches in my channel, but she does it at times apparently. But yeah, so I had to invent that name, and also Facebook banned my name. I can't use my name on Facebook except as a fan page. I can use it as a fan page, but Facebook banned my. I had 20 to 30,000 followers for like for quite a while, and they kicked me off. But you know what? It probably was. I taught people how to have experiences without the pharmaceuticals and stuff, how to addressing chemical balances rather than, you know. So I probably competed with advertising. That was probably the whole thing.
And you know, they might have been like, "Oh no, stop this man now! Stop this man now while we can." Seriously.
Because, yeah, there's like 20, 30,000 people that regularly could see what I had to say. To some degree, I don't think hardly anybody actually looked at everything, because I make a lot of posts. It's like every YouTube video I used to post my comments. Back when I can use my computer, I'm using a different IP address. They banned my IP address, by the way.
Wow.
So anybody who uses my regular IP address is not gets their Facebook kicked. Because I tried it with they even hunted down emails that I had at the end of high school, and that I wasn't even really using. I hadn't emailed anybody in years from certain emails, just checking to see if they're open, that sort of thing. But they made sure. But they also made sure that I knew that I did not violate any terms of service. So to be deplatformed without them with the guise of, you terms of service.
Wow, man, that's some BS. Honestly, that's
they email Facebook specifically emailed me from multiple email accounts. It's like I was only listed one email account. Thank you very much on your server, and ding 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 ding. You know,
and ding 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 ding.
But
yeah, dude, you can go ahead.
They look into you. If you have enough people and they think, okay, maybe they look and see, is this guy rich enough to sue? Because if he's rich enough to sue, he may think it's worth it. If he's not, okay, then we can do something. Because it costs about $100,000 to go after Facebook for anything other than being like raped in one of their buildings or something.
Well, that makes me just be like, no, master key. Just have the master key, dude.
Well, that's the thing. You do what work you have with what you're going to do, whatever. That's sort of the thing. You don't have to. Oh, I should let the tree grow. Probably it's far enough away from anything.
Yeah, man, yeah, dude, you can hit me up and like whenever you're good, just message me, and then you can send me a message through there, and then I'll hop in here again.
Okay. Well, did you have anything? Did you have anything else you wanted to add for your portion or whatever?
Well, I mean, is there anything I guess you'd want to leave everyone with? If someone didn't know where to start with the
if anybody wants to read my Twitter comments or view my page or something, whatever. If you like something I do, I'll do it again. You know, I mean, not that same thing necessarily, but you know what I mean. I returned to my playlist. You know,
yeah.
I'm cool if people want to watch 5 minutes of something. If they want to watch an hour or something, a 2-hour program, whatever.
Well, you got content. That's the thing. You have a lot of content, and in my comment, not the comment, but you know, like one bio thing, I'm gonna put your YouTube page there, and people should definitely check it out. I mean, you have so much stuff, dude. Like they can just.
I try to just respond to everybody. It's like, now again, there's things that I don't. Yeah. There's things I'm really against, but it's like I used to play chess with a serial killer, and it's like, you know, well, I had you had to watch. You know, he liked to prove to people, for example, that he could take you out without guns, although he only killed people with guns. But Anyways, but you know, I could get along with him for the game of chess and regular talk, but not, you know, I wasn't you know, I wasn't into the whole drug lord scene, and he was cool with that, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's certain. That's the thing. I can talk to people about this, that, and the other, but there's certain things I'm not gonna. I refuse to get involved with, and I make it quite clear because at the end of the day, you don't want to end up in a situation you can't control. I mean, sometimes that's how life goes. But
Let's be real. We have all sorts of different psychological types. Nobody's exactly the same. People nowadays, it's like, oh, I can't get into a relationship if I'm not exactly the same as you. It's like, you know why I want to get a relationship with you? You know, talking to women in particular, is that is because you have something to offer that I don't, and I have, and you know, there's difference about me that maybe I can help out with. It's called, you know, if it was
exchange.
If it was exactly the same, all I would do in life was, in that regard, is masturbate. That's it, you know. But
I don't know how you came to that conclusion.
Want something different? What?
Oh, I said I can't believe you came to that conclusion. It was a dumb pun. Yikes.
But yeah, it's like, but no, I'll talk to different groups. It's like I'm obviously trying to express things in the language and culture of various things. I don't have to believe it their same way or that sort of thing, but I kind of like, you know, it's like sometimes I'll even put on taboos. It's like I told for my idea of a joint ritual, what I was going to do was, you know, no blue, no purple, no black, because that's actually the rule of the group that I was, per se, representing, is that they don't believe that one particular faction, the most famous, but it's really a worldwide thing, because the Yazidi is basically not just one book. It's not the Al Jawa and stuff alone. It's really probably the biggest spiritual movement of ancient times, and it really can be the title for even what Become a Living God is trying to say is, you know, okay, we got all these demons and stuff, and it's about our own becoming, and we're going to be in the company of them and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, you know, it's like I'm not going to, okay, believing something different, doing something different is not quite the same as blasphemy. But blasphemy is not my game. So,
yeah.
So I thought it was going to be more effective if I kept. It's like, okay, no black, no purple, no blue. That's why Jews wear the blue thread. It's because it was to announce to everybody, we're not Satanists. It was a really expensive thing to do, but it told the world, we're not Satanists, because all over the area was a type of Satanist that had that belief.
Wow. That's pretty wild, man. I had no idea that. And that, I mean, that says a lot. That's crazy.
But you know, things are, that is a variety of beliefs and practices, and there's other things. It's like Hinduism doesn't exist. It's a title the British came up with because they said, oh, well, yeah. Okay, not the Buddhists. Okay, the Jains cannot be Hindu. The Muslims and everybody left. The 70,000 other groups. Let's call the religion Hinduism. You don't find any mention of Hinduism per se in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, in the slokas and the shrutis and stuff. You don't find it. You find stuff that people call Hinduism, and it's interesting that Hinduism wasn't the group that came out with reincarnation and a bunch of other stuff, but well, I'm rambling, and I don't know where to specify and whatnot, and I'm.
Oh, it's all freaking cool. I mean, dude, that's the thing. Hinduism, there's so many gods, so much this and that, and it kind of seems like more of a blanket over a ton of different cultures.
Ancient Egyptian, Babylonian, whatever, monotheism, polytheism, whatever in between, sort of atheism, but sort of not atheism, sort of thing. Only modern do you really have purely what you would call atheism. It was really more of a practical atheism before that. Sort of a Levian Satanism. Okay, we're going to use the forms, but we're not going to. Okay, it wasn't really Satanism, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're going to use the mythology, but they don't really believe the mythology. But then again, they can experience the mythology.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
But yeah, things are across the board. It's interesting. It's interesting when you look at that sort of stuff. It's like, 'cause people say, "Oh, this, that, and the other," and it's like, "Oh, I might as well leave you with one." You know, Tahote, the Thoth. Thoth had a cure. It's not a cure-all, mind you. There's really no such thing. It's like some people honey for an upset stomach and honey for on a wound, and generally helpful things, but not always. Or maybe it's not helpful enough, that sort of thing. But one of the things that, okay, with this current virus thing, or any real virus, you can prevent it and cure it with the same vitamins, the same herbs that used to. It's like, I bought enough eyebright for my family. If we have a really bad case and there's no medical treatment, we can sit around for a month sniffing eyebright diluted in water and that sort of thing to clear up our cells and keep ourselves breathing and through the worst of it. Just in case, I thought it was something to have. I wasn't relying on a crop this year. I'm not relying on the crop with little flowers growing this year. I gotta make sure it's here.
Yeah.
But okay, there's other herbs and stuff that help with colds and all that sort of stuff. Bed rest,
Wellness
fast,
formula.
bed rest, fast, and then after a fast, take, switching away from solid food. You want to give your bowels a break, but it's difficult to a convenient way, not the most pleasant way. Some people think it's the most pleasant way, mind you, but Thoth. What was Thoth considered to be as a separate entity, or maybe just a quality? What was Thoth considered to be a god of? Do you know this one?
Magic. It was black magic. I heard it was black magic and sorcerers.
Well, black magic, white magic. It's
all the same thing. Do prayers.
Not necessarily in that bit, but enemas. Thoth was the Egyptian god of enemas, and one of the ways that the flu and other stuff like this, and it's working. You have there was an elderly woman, like 100-something years old, that says that she was around during the last one, and that's how they got her through it with this and the other one. And there's other people. Again, it's not you wore 105 degrees, 110 degrees, something like that. Not too hot, not too what, because you want to raise your temperature like you're having a fever. And high colonics is basically the best way. Now you don't want to just destroy your electrolytes. You want to put a little baking soda or something like that, so you're not completely wiping out your salt. But hold that in and warm yourself up, and do that several times a day. People, somebody let me know that they, in their family, that's what they do. It takes days off of recovery for flu, and it's a method. But Thoth, Calamus is one of the things that Thoth is said to have used. I'm not sure what effect Calamus has on whatever, but anyways, in the spirit of what's going on currently, I thought I'd like to point out some Thoth-related curative issues. But
hey, that's some good shit, man. I get it. All right, yeah, it's a crappy.
Of course, that's a live ritual that you cannot do on YouTube.
Yeah, unfortunately,
enema ritual.
You can't.
There's actually stuff you can look up, and with that, as the sun sets, I am expected inside. So
okay, yeah. Are you trying to hit me up in like 15-20 minutes?
Something like that. Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly, but yeah, something like that. I will, and before I start recording, I will make sure that things are this time.
Awesome, man. Yeah, just let me know, dude. That sounds good. Thank you again for hopping on here, and I'll talk to you shortly. All right. Yeah.